amazing. I so can't believe I'm doing this. Feel free to take your shoes and socks off, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me welcome our incredible filmmakers, Josh and Rebecca Tickell, Marielle Hemingway, Bobby Williams, and Clint Ober. You can ground in socks so you don't have to go completely barefoot. Thanks, Marielle. I appreciate that. And thank you. Oh, gotcha. You've got to see their cute little daughter, Athena, which she had to go home because they were here, but you got to see her daughter. Not only is she wonderful and healthy, you should have seen her work the red carpet. She was out there barefoot like this. And our media team was asking her, who are you wearing? What are you wearing? She's adorable, so make sure you see her around. I want to kind of begin with that question that the doctors, why isn't this more embraced now already? The school thing amazed me in this film. Why doesn't every school on the planet have that grounding? Is there an answer? Is there a drive to get that into the schools? I don't know which one of you wants to talk about that. Right.
This is you, Clint.
Yeah. All right. Yes, there is. Basically, this mission, whatever it is, started here in Sedona 20 years ago. And I spent because it was so absurd in the first place, we had to spend a lot of years providing research to document the changes in physiology and everything that took place. And it took 15 of those years to get all of this research done. And in the process, we worked with the schools, the abilities people, all of these people, and we brought the science along, and we brought the pieces of knowledge along with the schools and with all of the vignettes that you saw in the movie. And so this is the launch of it. So it's not our job to go out and change the world all by ourselves. It's to get this knowledge out there so that other people can join the ranks and move this forward in their communities and in their schools and in their families and in their communities.
Well, we will certainly do anything we can help to do that. I'm right here.
Where'd you go?
I thought I'd go to the audience so they can ask questions as well, because I know a lot of people have things to say. Before I get to Lydia here, tell us how you discovered Marielle and Bobby and, of course, Amy Smart. How did you find these people that were already doing grounding? Was that something that came from you, Clint? How did you all connect to make this happen?
Well, Marielle and Bobby and Amy, they're friends of ours, and through our work in other environmental documentary films, and they've always been big advocates of our work and that work, and we've been working on it together. And so it was a no-brainer to ask them I called Marielle actually just a few weeks ago and was like, hey, will you and Bobby be in our movie about earthing? And she was like, I love earthing. I mean, we saw, your film Running from Crazy, and we're so inspired by all the work that you've done, getting information out there for people about mental health. And I've personally suffered from depression my whole life until now. So I think it was just, I wanted to have other powerful women, people who are experiencing this, we did, to have a voice in this film.
And Marielle and Bobby you've worked on natural health for a long time. Maybe you should mention your book and that work as well. This is not not your first rodeo with natural health, right?
No, Bobby and I were on a mission. I think the last time I was here, which was 5 years ago. Yes, Running from Crazy. We were actually promoting our book, Running with Nature, at the same time, which is about really, connecting in nature. And I'll let you do the description of what that really means and how we go into that in the book. But my sort of passion in life. And it's why when you called, I was so excited about it, because we've spoken over the years about mental health. And since doing Running from Crazy, I've traveled, around the world actually speaking about mental health and giving people a sense that there are solutions. And I truly believe that grounding is one of the biggest solutions. It's kind of, we were talking about it today, it's like a root. It's a root. It's like it's something. It starts at, at the bottom of your feet and moves upwards, and it really is part of. It may not be the sole solution, but I'm telling you from experience or personal experience, knowing what the outdoors, what nature does to us, and the fact that when we connect with it, we can change how our minds are thinking. And that's a profound, it's a profound observation. And there's so many people out there seeking help for mental health problems. But Bobby and I's thing is it's all connected. Our bodies and our minds are connected, and the earth is connected to us. And so we need to share this information. All of you need to leave this place and share this because it works. It absolutely 100% works. And you should talk about our belief in, the 6 greatest doctors. You're good at that.
I believe that we are all self-healing, self-sufficient, and self-sustaining, provided the right environment and the right information. I mean, if a disease comes from here, it can be cured here. And we are looking in the wrong places by not looking into nature. I said today, earlier in an interview, that man's become this innovative capitalist. He thinks he's smarter than nature, which is an oxymoron because we are nature and we can't be smarter than ourselves. And we need to tap into what's here. And I know this community is big in the outdoors and nature, and it's such a profound part of our lives if we just get in it, instead of separating ourselves from it. And Meryl and I, when we sat with Oprah a couple years back with the book, we talked about that, and Oprah said that's her solace as well, and we talked about our 6 greatest doctors that were available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they were free. It was Dr. Sun, Dr. Air, Dr. Water, Dr. Nutrition, Dr. Exercise, and Dr. Rest. What a great group, right? You see these guys, you don't have to go to a doctor. So Meryl and I are big advocates, and we really, prescribe that. And obviously the grounding is such a huge thing. It's something that I've been doing for over 30 years. I started rock climbing in Yosemite and the Sierras, and in between climbs, you have these tight shoes on, you're constantly barefoot, and I noticed that the more that I spent time out in the outdoors and in nature and barefoot, I'd come back from the Sierras and go back to work as a stuntman and the acting stuff, and people would say, "Where are you from? You're not from here, are you?" And I'd be the same guy that I was a week earlier, but for some reason I'd be different, and I always felt better. And when I got together with Mariel, our lives became all about this, just health and wellness, but doing it through simplicity. It's available to all of us. It's just amazing. This whole thing that happened early in the 19th century, I'll say this quickly, Rockefeller and Carnegie got together. They got rid of all the holistic medicine. They got rid of all the holistic colleges. And there were snake oil guys out there protecting us from that in a sense, but they created these isolates, this medicine that treats symptoms. And you can ask any doctor, you got anything that cures anything? No. Really? That blows my mind. And these things that Clint's bringing to us and the things that we're looking at, these things actually help cure and heal. I mean, it's profound.
I'm just astonished at watching the film again and just the speed with which it works. It just blows my mind. It's like, oh my God, within minutes? And you see, in the test, it's like 2 hours after grounding. And what happens in the body? 2 hours. That's crazy.
I have a yard that is all pavers and gravel, and I feel like if I go to the park where there's lots of grass, all the dogs have been there peeing and doing other things. I mean, what do you suggest? I mean,
So just to repeat the question, so everybody can hear, you have a yard that's filled with pavers and gravel, and you don't want to go to the park because dogs have been there doing what dogs do in the park, So your options are limited. What do you suggest? Great question.
What do I suggest?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, do you have some shade in your yard? Okay, so just take a chair and take it out and sit in the shade, and then just take a hose and water down the pavers. A little moisture, a little dampness, and they're probably grounding anyway. The main problem is heat, but that's one way to start grounding. It's very simple.
Should she sit in the chair as well?
No, sit in the chair, put
Okay.
your bare feet on the earth, and
On the pavers.
Yeah.
They literally, there's water.
but if it's really dry, which it gets here sometime in the summer, then just put a little moisture on, and then you can go out, sit down, put your feet on the pavers where it's damp, and it'll ground you out. I mean, it's an excellent way to ground. But on the other hand, going to the park, yes, everybody takes their pets to the parks, but maybe we need to, we protect the more grounded you get, the stronger your immune system gets, and that is not an issue. That is not the issue that you think it is.
Maybe we need some people area. We have pet area. We need some area for people to walk around, right? But I think the most important answer that I hear you, Clint, and I've heard you say this before, is cement, pavers, rocks, gravel. Those are all grounding surfaces as long as there is moisture to connect the bottom of the feet.
And they're connected directly to the earth. If your patio is on the earth, then of course concrete is grounded. Yes.
Thank you. Right here.
Thank you so much for this film, which I think is so important. I'm an integrative medicine doctor, also a family physician, and then also discovered about the importance of nutrition, and I'm a certified culinary medicine specialist. And some of the newest research that's coming out now is on our gut microbiome. And I wondered if you wanted to comment how being out in the soil, again, there's microbes in the soil, and doesn't that also add to quelching the inflammation, because inflammation is caused by so many things, and there's many studies now that show that eating fermented foods, eating foods that are probiotics and help our gut and our microbiome. And have you ever thought of partnering with the people that are now doing microbiome research to see if the earth offers other healing qualities, and it might be related to that?
Well, one of the ways we found Clint is Rebecca and I have another movie and a book called Kiss the Ground, which is all about soil regeneration. And so we were looking at the biological side of soil. And yes, to answer your question, absolutely, there's a biological component. We were speaking about that last night. There's, quite literally a transference of bacteria back and forth. But we hadn't looked at the electrical component. And as Muriel said, and Bobby said, it's all connected.
Yeah, there's 3,000 pores on the bottom of your feet. Think of what's absorbed when you're walking on the ground. I mean, it's profound. We're made up of 45 to 50% bacteria. So, right on. But the electrical components that combine with that are profound. So, yeah, there's definitely an interaction there.
Yeah.
We're just microbe hosts, really.
Yeah.
I want to, first of all, thank you guys for this. I want to thank you, Clint, because a lot of times, people don't acknowledge things. And when you talked about the native people that told you to take your shoes off when you come to TP, you ground yourself. I grew up in moccasins. I grew up in a moss bag. And a moss bag is made with hide, and it's made with moss. So when your mother's walking in the moccasins, and you're in a moss bag, you're grounded. And the hide moccasins are not synthetic. A lot of times Indian people, when they're starving, they could cook their moccasins and eat them. So I'm saying they're nothing synthetic. And if you're going to be in a park, just don't step on the dog poo. You'll probably be all right, And I want to say that, Mariel, I seen you in San Diego, you telling the stories of you flipping on the trampoline, and that was you, right? And I enjoyed that very much, and going in the cold water. Nature, and Gawi ski, Mother Earth, no tawi, Mao, Father Sky, Musky Iutin, Medicine Wind, Kokam Tipskak, Pisim, I got Grandmother Night Moon, controls the tides, the oceans, the motherhood, I got Kamashum Noga PSCs, grandfather, son, we're all connected. We're part of this web of life. There's nothing new. But Clint, I want to thank you for acknowledging the Native people there. Hi, Kanasko. Oh, my name is Buffalo Child. Hi. Oh.
Aho, by the way.
I don't know a lot of people that would eat their Nikes if they got hungry, so it's very important.
Hi, thank you very much, all of you. I would appreciate some information on how to purchase quality products. That's a tough thing for some people when you don't have the stores in Sedona that Phoenix might have. But if you have any information that would be helpful to us and some guidelines, that would be great.
Yes, there's 3 outlets that are easy to go to. Earthing.com is very common. Deepak Chopra Innerspace.com is and then we have a third one called Ground Therapy, and that one is just now coming up. All of this is kind of new, and we've been around for a while, but it's just now coming together. But it's pretty easy to find information about the grounding now online.
So you said earthing.com,
Yes.
Deepak Chopra Innerspace,
Yes.
and Ground Therapy.
Yes.
On the internet.
Currently, but I mean, I think, because I didn't know about earthing before we met Clint. I didn't know anything about it. I intuitively knew I felt better when I touched the ground. I spent my childhood in Vermont in the bathtub in winter, essentially, because that you can ground in the bathtub also. In the shower, you're naturally grounded. And yeah, I mean, I think that we're at the forefront of a movement. I really believe in 10 years we will all be connected to the earth, and this won't be a second thought. It's so innate, we don't think about whether we need to breathe, we don't think about whether we need to drink water, but for some reason we have to take a moment and think about whether we need to connect to the earth or not, where we come from, where we all slept,
Well,
forever.
it gets back to when we were kids, and Bobby was saying it in the movie. I mean, remember when we were all children, your mom said go out and play, and you took your shoes off, and you didn't see, in the summer, you didn't see your parents all day. And I was talking today about I used to ride bareback with no shoes on and go through streams and do all this stuff, and it was just all day. You never thought about it. I never thought about putting shoes on. So it's a retraining, because when you first start, it's like, it's a little uncomfortable. But then you long for it. Every day you're like, I can't wait. This morning we were so excited, it was cold. I was like, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? And just to get our feet in that red earth here, it was just, it was incredible. It is incredible. So you're very lucky.
How about Sedona being the birthplace of the realization of grounding? I mean, go Sedona, the collective consciousness here was something that he realized. And this truly is a magical place. So it's great to be here with you having this conversation now, and I look forward to seeing what we all do with this information in terms of getting it out to the rest of the world who maybe aren't so,
Grounded. Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for putting this film together. It was incredibly informative. And as Canadians, I'm looking for some advice for those of us that live in frozen ground for 6 months of the year.
Clint's looking at me like I have advice I don't for frozen ground.
We sleep on grounding sheets. So when we started grounding Athena,
Well, grounding at night, right? And
Yes, so-
grounding things in the house.
One thing in all of the research, one of the things we identified was the further you go north, the higher and more inflammation-related health disorders. You go towards the equatorial region, there are little to none. And so we know that, like I'm from Montana, so 6 to 9 months out of the year, you're lucky to be able to go outdoors and go barefoot on the 4th of July some years. And but what we have done so far is we have surfaced this knowledge. We have some rather crude sometimes when people see them. Grounding products that are simple, but they're economical, and they allow people to experience grounding and to ground yourself in environments where you can't get grounded at all. taking your shower or taking a bath is a grounding experience for many people. But the more grounded you can get, the better off you're going to be. But so this is not something, I'd like to just say something. It's, when we talk about products and stuff, I get a little nervous because that was not what the mission was about when we started. It was just very simply, I had a heavy background in electrical and communications and grounding. And this came to me pretty much while I was here in Sedona, and I was retired. I was retired at quite a young age. And, but as this surfaced to me, then every event, every person in that film, everything that came along over the last 20 years, all of the people, they all showed up on time. If any one of them would have been earlier, it wouldn't have worked. There's something about all of this that is above and beyond me. I'm just here to sing bass and help out and bring it. But what's kind of ironic to me is it started in Sedona, and this is our first real exposure. So I really believe all of you who are here on purpose. This is for you, and you are the people who are going to take it from here.
He's trying to retire again.
I think to question, that there aren't solutions for every situation yet. And, to Clint's point, we're scratching the surface of this new movement, of this knowledge. The big call to action at the end of the film is, let's get our shoes grounded and let's get our schools grounded. Those are no-brainers. Why aren't we walking, even in wintertime, with shoes that help our bodies be connected to the negative electrical energy of Earth? It's very simple. So I think this is a movement, and we're going to need everybody to be involved to get Canada grounded.
And I just to answer specifically your question with Athena, the first thing that we did was we got grounding sheets and we plugged them into the wall, and she slept on those. And that was when because she gets croup, and we had both Josh and I had croup as infants, and kids get croup. It's not a big deal, but the inflammation would make it so she couldn't breathe. And so at 2 a.m., when she was coughing, that inflammation would close her throat. And we would be terrified because her lips would start to turn blue. So we would race to the emergency room, and this would happen on a regular basis for the first few years of her life. And I can't tell you how many steroid shots she got. And the minute we started having her sleep on those grounding sheets, we haven't been back to the hospital. And so we're hesitant to endorse or promote products, but having been raised in the North, I understand, and as a mother of a daughter who I will not let her sleep without it. So there are, it's not a big market yet, but if you go online, there are places where you can get these sheets and these pillowcases and that type of thing. There are some shoes, but I know that soon this is going to take off because people are going to realize how profitable this will be because we need this.
I can say one thing real quick on the shoes. I talked to Nike 15, 17 years ago. I spoke with Nike 15, 17 years ago, and we did some studies at the University of Oregon. And we were working with them, and a lot of the people, they didn't feel that it was their job to come out and educate you about grounding. But they did say that when the people come to our stores and want grounded shoes, we will provide them. And so what we need to do is get people to ask the questions.
Well, like the fella said, sitting back there, how many thousands of years do you guys have moccasins? And talk about Apache land in Sedona, Arizona, that's where it started. You guys were barefoot for a long time, and your plant medicine was around in the beginning of the century, 19th century. That was one of the things they closed down. Your medicine is big, and I think that people are starting to figure that out. Profound.
Clint, welcome back. Good to see you. I study a martial art called Aikido, and I notice in martial arts that most of them are done barefoot.
Yes.
And that what we teach in martial arts is we draw energy from the earth, and we connect with other people with it. So thank you for putting this together. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I sent you into retirement several years ago.
Can you tell us why you didn't name the film Earthing or Grounding? And secondly, start with that.
Well, we didn't name the film Grounding because it is not, the book's name is Grounding, and obviously, I'm sorry, Earthing, and obviously the film picks from Clint's life and pulls from the book, but it is not a true, making of a book into a film. Lots has happened since the book has been written. Millions of copies of that book have been sold, and so this is the next chapter in the journey. There are going to be many more chapters beyond this. Yeah.
And is there any difference noticed in your measurements, whether you're plugged in versus being your feet on the ground?
Is it different grounding whether you're grounded by being plugged in or whether you're on the earth? Is it a different?
No, the Earth has a measurable electrical potential, and so whether it's via a ground rod and an electrical system or bare feet, they're equal. As long as you have good solid conductivity. Yes.
So there's hope for Canada.
Yes.
I noticed that you have your bare feet and you're on wood. Are you grounded right now with your feet bare?
No, but our feet are getting tougher. and that, I think we have a real foot, people talk about foot fetish. I actually think as a culture, we have the opposite. I think we have a foot phobia. Like, you ask most people to take off their socks and shoes. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't want to see what's in there. You've never seen what's in my socks. I can't show that to you. We're not on that level. And so I think the first thing we need to get over is being afraid. That's like walking around with a bag over your head all the time. Oh, you can't see my face. Like, we need to get over the fear of our feet, because you can't really be effectively grounded if you can't take your shoes off. And if your feet don't get a little tougher, every little thing, oh, ow, it's a pebble. Oh, it's sand. We need to build up that resistance. So we're here in solidarity with our toes.
So the other question I have is what actual substances conduct the electricity of the Earth?
So what substances conduct the electricity of the Earth into the feet?
Well, like copper for sure. Most of our homes have copper ground systems. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not used to this.
It's not your day job.
It's not my day job. Copper, of course, is the primary conductor that is used worldwide for electrical ground systems. Carbon is also a metal. It's a conductive, and that's what we use a lot of, is carbon. And any kind of metal almost any kind of metal will conduct electrons. Yes. Yeah, anything that's got a lot of moisture in it will conduct. Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a wide variety of substances.
Yesterday I was driving back from Oak Creek Canyon. I volunteer with miniature horses, and I saw a woman on the side of the road walking barefoot, and I didn't connect anything. But I'm a retired speech pathologist, and when I was a child, as you said, we played outside all the time, and we got dirty, and we probably ate dirt.
Yes.
And in my profession, I've observed such an increase in allergies. My grandchildren are allergic to everything. And I think it's because they are so protected. They don't get out and get dirty. And I do feel, and also autism. There's been a huge increase in autism.
Yeah, so is dirt, is real dirt, is that dirty? Is real dirt? No, it's not. No, it's profound. And synthetics are what are making your grandkids, sick. It's all synthetics in the food and the plastics and all the nonsense that's in there.
I tried to get her to kneel down and help me plant a plant, and she said, "Ooh, I'll get dirty." And that was her response. And she's a sweetheart, but they didn't do that.
And isn't allergies is an inflammatory response?
Yes, of course,
right.
yes.
We love you up there.
Yeah, I've been using grounding, one of those half sheets for years. I think a lot of people in Sedona use them. And I know quite a few. I hike next to the creek, barefoot, whenever I can, which isn't too often, but I do landscaping. And getting back to the shoes, wouldn't it be great if somebody invented a boot, like a work boot, that also grounded you? I mean, here I am working with the land, and I'm totally insulated from it. Makes sense. I mean, it's a business opportunity for somebody in this house, right, in this building right now.
So you got a business deal proposition for us, right? You're going to run the work boots.
Yeah.
I think you should talk to the Indian over here.
Yeah.
Well, to the gentleman's point about moccasins, like leather is a conductive substance, semiconductive. So if you go and try and buy a pair of moccasins, it's very difficult today. Like, I actually tried to buy some, and you can't really find them. But you can find all sorts of sneakers and rubber insulated shoes. So it's a case of having knowledge and then choosing to do something else.
I actually did landscaping in my moccasins once and pulled my back out. I was getting the earth bank, but I wasn't doing anything for my back.
I'm actually having some responses to two people here. The first thing is the last thing that was said about making moccasins. I was just saying that to my husband that, we should start making them. Because I've been walking in them since 2 weeks ago, whenever I don't walk barefoot, and it feels so good to be so close to the ground. So we'll see, but it could be us. Yes. That are here in the building. The other thing was, there was someone who was asking about living half the year in cold weather and snow and ice. I'm from Sweden, and last time I was home, I made a new friend, and she made a big impression on me because she took off her shoes and walked out in the snow barefoot for like 30 minutes. And she had me come with her, which was really hard because my feet aren't used to it, but it was such a rush of energy, both being grounded but also the cold, and it just felt so much energy moving through the body. It was amazing. And now I've been working myself up that I can walk outside here in the mornings when it's cold and it's not so big of a problem. So it's possible, but it takes a little bit more courage and just trying it. And I just wanted to express my gratitude because it's amazing to be here. I love walking barefoot. I had my spiritual awakening through being on the earth. And I'm just so grateful that this is getting out there. I definitely want to be part of spreading it more out to the world. So thank you, Rebecca, Josh, and everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you. And if Sweden can do it, Canada, you can do it too.
Hi guys, everyone. Thank you. So I'm actually grateful to be later in the questions because I've had a lot of things that I've wanted to say based on others' comments. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much to the First Nations man. I find that I draw a lot of strength off of you, just seeing your presence and your arm, the way you held it. So thank you. I hope that's an all right way to address you this evening. And I just also want to say on a similar vein is that those folks, like I feel like we're saying we're discovering something new, but there was a genocide in this country, and we lost a lot of very important, very deeply rooted wisdom when we did that. And I just really want to acknowledge that. And I feel like we're a bunch of like silly teenagers acting like we're inventing something in a way. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm also not. So I just want to say that. And then also there's like the Eastern Indian, and they have the entire like all their sadhus and all, you know, the meditation. You know, Yogananda, for instance, was popular here in the U.S. And a lot of those teachings, you know, lay naked outside in the sun for 15 minutes. You know, the whole energization, which is a series of a way to draw your life force energy into your body. Do it barefoot, do it outside every day. Yeah, so thank you so much. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick, what do you think? It seems like folks are getting
We've got time for one more question.
Yep.
So whoever can shout the loudest, I'm coming down to you. Oh, Elizabeth, I promised you a question. They will be outside out back to address you, and they're going to sign posters and all that good stuff. Elizabeth, here you are.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, all of you, for this beautiful film that's so full of wisdom that we are recapturing. And one of the things that I've been really active in the last few years is finding ways to protect my body from electromagnetics and being very sensitive to my computer and my phone. You know, just holding the phone in my hand has begun to hurt. And just this past week, I had my house hardwired. And now I'm so happy to have discovered that earthing is going to be added to the arsenal of things that I'm going to do, and the work that I do with my beloved. We share these kinds of things with people around the world, and so we're going to have earthing as one of the things that we share and spread as much as we can. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I was taken by Rebecca. I'm thinking of that whole lying naked. I'm picturing all of Sedona naked in their yards tomorrow. And I think it's Lydia, you've got pavers. Be careful. But we really want to thank them, and please institute as much of this as you can. They'll be out in the lobby. Thank you so much, Josh and Rebecca Tickell, Bobby Williams, Mariel Hemingway, and Clint Ober. Please give them a nice round of applause. Say hello to them all out there on the red carpet. They'll be signing posters. You were the world premiere, ladies and gentlemen. Help us spread the word.
Thank you.